Hi, everyone. Good morning. Brent Wessler wanted to, again, bring you into a kind of a cool demonstration today. We're going to be taking ABBYY Vantage, Google Document AI, and the Azure Document Intelligence Framework and show you the different UIs that are available to end users to customize the document experience. I find that these are the three most capable. AWS really doesn't provide any type of textract UI, so I kind of discount that. And Hyperscience, just getting familiar with that particular product. So today we're going to be comparing, contrasting these three cloud engines and specifically, everything IDP, as I always say. In our first example, we're going to be using ABBYY Vantage and their skills capability. We're going to go into our packing list skill. It's a document skill that we've created. Our info input integration does support both document and process and OCR skills. So we're going to come in, and the first thing we're going to do is upload a document here. So we'll come and grab a sample document. So we're going to bring in this document, WillPuff here. You do have to have different file names. So you notice I've already brought that in and trained it. It's being uploaded. Once it's uploaded, I can go to the editor and you'll see that I click on that document, how it automatically extracted some of that relative metadata. And you can also notice how it was smart enough to deinterlace the lot number, which is a following line from these other lines. If I wanted to create a new column, all I need to do is, as you see here, I'm going to change this to bin, for instance, enter. And all we have to do is grab the first one, and then I just hit the down arrow there, and it will populate all of the other table items. So table mapping and ABBYY is a little unique. I like the approach. It does a really good job. And then again, if I wanted to come in and grab ship date or other information, I can just highlight it and populate that in the right field. And then you'll notice here we are able to move fields around. I do love that. It's a nice feature. And you can also move them side by side. Some things I'm learning there. And then all you have to do is hit the train. Once you hit the train and hit the publish button, you've now published this particular skill, and you'll see the skill ID is actually up here at the top. Okay, so all we need to do is take this, copy it, and we go into our extraction profile. So in this case, the packing list. And you can see here, we're going to select document skill none. And in the skill ID, we're going to put that ID that we selected above. And by doing so, we will then be able to capture these custom packing lists using the ABBYY Vantage UI. Great. Let's now look at Google Cloud and the Document AI framework here. So with the way that Google works, it's kind of the UI is not as user friendly. It doesn't have a lot of the feature functionality that you just saw with the ease of use of creating fields and mapping tables. It certainly does tables quite a bit different. So I'd say in the processor gallery, you do have a number of different 40 plus different processors you can choose from. I have this packing list parser, same idea. And when I open this up, you're going to see I have the train button here, and we're going to have to come in and edit schema, which allows us to basically add labels. It's the same idea what you just saw: ship date, lot number. And again, you can see here we have the ability to do line item information as well as a header footer information. So the difficulty here is when we hit import documents, we can't just drag and drop like you do in ABBYY or in Azure for that matter. You actually have to create a cloud storage location for us to actually import. So it's actually a two-step process. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our cloud storage, and I'm going to have to I have a root folder here, and then I'm going to have to create a folder. So we have to create a folder, and I'll just call it packing list 2, hit the create. Okay, now we have that, and we're going to need to upload our files. Okay, so again, we'll grab those files. We'll upload them. Now we're going to be able to go through and train. Now you saw in Abby, you don't need that many samples to train. Google's going to require a minimum of 10 in a test set and a training set. So essentially 20. Now, because each train and test looks at a different storage folder, you're going to actually have to create 2 storage folders, one for train and one for test. And we'll go back to our document AI here. So you just type in document AI, and we'll get back to our processor, the packing list one. And now we can hit train. Now I've already done this clearly. You can see here, data split, training and test. I have 31 documents, but you also have to make sure there's at least 10 sample documents for each label. Okay, so what I do is import documents. I select our PL2 right there, hit the select button. And what it's going to say is, do you want to take those? And I only put in 4 or 5 documents. Do you want to take those and split them between training and test? Or do you want to, which is the auto split, or you just want to put them into training and hit the import button? And this will now bring in those 5 documents. Okay, and then we can come in and I'll just show you how you can, it's the same idea, right? So you have your fields over here. If there was a PO number, I'll just say the supplier ID. I click it. You actually have to lasso around it. And then you say, hey, that's the PO number. And you can see that. And then I have to hit mark as labeled and it'll move to the next document. Okay, so again, lasso OCR, which is a little bit more difficult than Abby, where you just strike through. Same thing with Azure, you just strike through the document with a hold on the left mouse key and drag. Here you have to do quite a bit more. I'm not a big fan of this approach. You can see here, AP invoice number. Okay, and then we start to grab line item information. So line items, the first thing is the lot number. Lasso that. Again, lot number. Got it. And then we're going to grab the unit price, which is over here. And we're going to say unit price. Okay, so now it's saying, hey, how do I associate this? Well, associate it with the lot number one you just did. Okay, again, you don't need to do this with any of the other ones. Here we have weight. So we're going to come in and grab weight. And again, it's going to prompt, it's going to say, how do I associate this? Okay, so we've done that. Not a fan of how this is laid out. It does work. So you can see, I'm going to say new parent. So I got to tell it's a new line. And you can see we'll grab the weight. Okay, weight. And I'm going to say, hey, that's part of this line. So you got to actually tell it which line it's part of. And then the unit cost, again, we're going to say, unit price, and we're gonna have to tell it it's that one. So yeah, if there's a lot of lines, this could get a little crazy. And then we can delete that other one. So now we have the 2 lines. They don't show it as tabular data. It shows it as kind of this, label kind of weird thing. And you could see now once I'm done, I hit mark as labeled. And then at the end, I hit train new version. And I need to give it a new, I gotta give it a name, right? So give it something unique. And then when I hit start training, when that's done, you now need to go to the manage versions and you need to then deploy this version and set it as default. Okay, so quite a bit more on the Google side to set these up. Now, I will note that in some of these particular processors, so for instance, here with the splitter, the doc splitter, and you see this processor does not currently support uptraining and evaluation capabilities. So you can't train or do anything. So that's the case with a few of them. I've noticed that with doc split. Some of the other processor gallery items just don't allow you to modify. However, the pre-built parsers that you get from Azure, they don't allow you to modify those. Whereas in the case of Google here, you'll see, I believe it's the bank statement parser. We can come in and add additional bank statement parsing. So we take the advantage of all the pre-built parsing that Google has, but then we also are allowed to augment. So that's a bit unique to Google versus Azure. ABBYY, again, does allow you to add as well to their pre-built parsers. So I do find that pretty cool. Let's take a look at Azure. So this is the Document Intelligence Studio. So what we're going to do here is go to formrecognizer.appliedai.azure.com and /studio here. You will notice that Form Recognizer used to be part of the Applied AI department, so to speak, at Azure. It's now Azure AI Document Intelligence. You can see Azure does have some pre-built items. The general documents works really well. So we support layout, general documents, invoices, receipts, business cards, all of these right now. And you can see here with invoices. So if I was to open invoices, you're going to see I can add I can test documents. So again, within this interface, I can bring in an invoice and it can, let's bring that in and it will see what it run analysis to see what we actually extract. But I can't add custom invoices to the pre-built invoice parser, which you can with Google, as we just saw. Azure does such a great job anyway. And you can see here all the different things that it actually extracted, the items it doesn't, you can see. And then I love the table mapper feature here. You just have this little, it recognizes a table in multiple areas. You just hit the table mapper and you can see all the different fields that it automatically extracts. And you can then see down here, if we were to go to items, you could see that here. Now, again, the custom parser, which I'm going to show you next, is quite a bit different than the pre-built stuff here. Again, you're only able to really test the document. It's not going to allow you to change anything. Now, if we go down to our custom extraction model, which I've already built a number of LinkedIn posts on, and I come into our example of these custom invoices here, and you can see first off, you have this kind of label data. So you don't have to create a storage account. You just literally drag and drop or browse, and then you can see all the different documents that are associated here. And you could see on the right, we have our different fields. So on this one, I went to, for instance, this is the order number. So all I have to do is I just click on it, order number, hit enter. And what is it? A field, a selection marker, signature. So that's a field. Here we could say order date. Okay. I could select field and it just automatically collects it. You could drag these fields around. I love that. And then I really love the table. Again, the difference between the pre-built stuff is you really can't auto label these. With the custom, when I hit the table icon, it gives me the auto label button. When I click on that, I can create a new, I call this invoice table and hit, oh, I guess I already have that. I'll say invoice table 2. So mapping the invoice table can be either dynamic or fixed. Here we're going to use dynamic. We're going to select, we already have quantity, item number, item discount. That's not what this is. I don't care. And this is the extended price, but I don't like the name. So I'm going to shorten it. And we just need to make sure we don't have any spaces in the column names. And when I hit finish, it automatically created that. Now, another approach here is if I was to delete these rows, and get rid of all that information, I could also just create the table, simply click on the value and then click on the cell. I love this option, and then click, and then it can also add additional columns. So I can insert a column, we can call this description, and hit enter. Okay, and now I can grab the description and put that here. The difficulty with this is that you actually have to capture for each. You don't have that kind of populate downwards that ABBYY has with its table mapper. And then ultimately, once we're done, we hit the train button. You only need 5 documents to train a model. We get a model number. As you can see here, we grab the model ID of such, and then we come into our Microsoft, this case, Microsoft Azure, and you can see I have some custom items, and all I need to do is select the recognition model of custom. You'll notice when I click off a custom, that box model ID goes away. So all I really need to do is click custom, put that model ID in there, and now info input is utilizing all the best from your custom model. I also will mention the ability to do compose models. This is something really cool. Basically allows you to merge multiple singular models together into a composed model in situations where you have a lot of variability. And certainly, as you saw there in info input, we only are allowed to provide one model ID. So using a composed model would allow you to select multiple models, compose them together, and be able to have that extraction profile look for multiple different types of documents with the custom parameters. Once you select a test model, you can now drag and drop different documents in and see how well it actually reads. Now, I will note different types of languages are supported. So here we have some custom Chinese invoices. So if I select one, you'll see here I run analysis. It's going to tell me how well it read that particular values based on the training model. And again, you don't have to segment your different language documents. It will automatically figure it out. And you can see here how it figured out all the different fields automatically based on my training set. So I really like the Azure UI. I feel it's very user-friendly. You don't have to create storage accounts. The drag and drop functionality, it's very easy to use, and the training set is 5 documents. I think this does quite a bit better with the different use cases I've thrown at it than Google. Hopefully, you all found that the message today was helpful, and anybody that can share and like my posts, I'd appreciate it, so we get more participants that are watching our particular videos, and we're educating on all the different IDP products there, specifically the cloud engines. Have a great rest of your day.